Okay, I'm here. Um, so this is not a reply to this person that is here. Um, this is not a reply to this video or any of their recent videos. So I came across this. This was posted 16 hours ago. I came across this maybe a couple hours after it was posted. And so I looked over the title and I kind of thought it was funny. So, as we can see, the title says Explaining to YouTuber Crows 1176, which, now, hold on for a second. This person constantly messes up people's names. Like, he's going after this guy that he calls Phillips. There's no, like, you mean the company Philips? Like, the company that makes TVs and cameras? Who's Philips? Who? Because this person puts this YouTuber's name, Crows1176. Who's Crows? Because I know a YouTuber named Crow1176, not Crows, like, okay. But anywho, it says, explaining to YouTuber Crows1176 why your 3D printing counterfeiting business is not a real company. 3D printing counterfeiting isn't even spelled right. Okay. People who 3D print, copyrighted material, they're not counterfeiting, they're not doing anything like that at all. I find it weird how, like, it's actually funny. I was scrolling through some 3D printing videos and this came across, which, now, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, cause, like, I find it weird. Now, I'll explain why. So, like, 3D printers were made, I don't know how long ago, but they were made to, like, 3D printers were made to make stuff, right? Yes and no. Like, people were making 3D printed handguns, like, when they first came out. Like, it was weird, and, like, people 3D print anything and everything. Like, what's actually funny, don't, disregard the noise in the background. I got my front door open, letting in some fresh air. So, what, now, PlayStation, when the PlayStation 5 came out, right, I forgot what company it was. I think it was Dbrand. Yeah, I think it was Dbrand. It was Dbrand or it was some other company that, like, they ended up coming out with PlayStation shells, for, like, different colors. PlayStation didn't like that because, the shells weren't 3D printed. They were actually made in a factory. But, like, PlayStation didn't like it because, technically, those plates were copyright. So, PlayStation went and said, no, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. now Dbrand does sell the plates, and other companies sell them as well. They probably made a deal or whatever. Which, I mean, cool, but it's also like weird at the same time, because like I see people 3D print whatever they want. Like I can go buy a 3D printer, and like I can go print stuff whatever for myself. So like years ago, I bought sorry. So years ago, I bought a 3D printed PlayStation VR stand. Like for the original for the original PlayStation. I don't have it anymore because it ended up breaking because it fell. But like I came across this person actually. I have it somewhere. So yeah, this. So you can't really see it anymore. Cause I gotta stand it up. Let me. So we'll zoom in here. So I came across this shop, and like I came across this shop on Etsy, and I saw that he had some kind of VR headset stand. So I was like, "Hey, that's cool." Can you make it bigger? So like, like you can see right here, you got a base. Like I had it all in like different colors. Look, like I had the hooks, I think in black right there. The top piece in black, the bottom in black, the letters in white. So like now, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you bought something that was copyrighted. You bought something, blah blah." No, 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 because there was nothing like there was no PlayStation logo. This had the face buttons, yes. Triangle, circle, square, and X or cross, as it technically is, spelled. Okay, still recording. But anywho, so like I had them, do the base in black, letters in white, like I said. So like, but I still have my original PlayStation VR. I don't use it because, I mean, I have room for it, but the problem is with having a PS5 Pro, it doesn't make sense to hook up an original PlayStation VR, and besides, I never used the VR. Like, I bought an old HTC Vive, I think, for like $200. This is the one that had like the touch control, the big giant circles on the front. On the controller where, it was like touch activated. I hooked that up and I barely used it because it was just hectic to set up because you had to have, sensors across from each other in corners, and it was just too much, you know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I still have that too. I like them, I do, but like, I mean, I have the room for it, but it's just too much, like it's too much to set up, and there's better VRs out there, but like, like this right here, this person 3D printed something that was actually custom made, nothing copyrighted for PlayStation or whatever, but like I said, it ended up breaking, it ended up falling. So like, I've been looking around, and so like here on eBay, I googled 3D printed Marvel, right? Here's a Groot, here's a Spider-Man logo, X-Men logo, little Hulk, little Iron Man. Like Marvel Comics. Ooh, this one's cool. 3D printed pool table. Now, that right there is cool as heck. Oh, and it's actually a functioning pool table. That is really cool. I'm gonna save that. I might buy one of those. But like in this company, like all of this is Sony and PlayStation stuff. But like, who cares? Now, the reason why I say who cares, now, what I mean by that is like, I'm pretty sure. So like, here's the thing. Well, like, I've seen stuff that this Crow 1176 has printed, right? I've seen a bunch of stuff other people have 3D printed, right? So, like, here's a question. Now, this is just a general question, right? So, like, if this Crow 1176 person is 3D print, quote unquote, 3D, having a 3D printing counterfeiting business, right? How are they counterfeiting? Isn't counterfeiting money? Isn't counterfeiting actually, quote unquote, for money? Because technically, right? Now, I'll probably get a lot of hate, a lot of comments over this. I don't know. I'm not YouTube famous. I wish I was, but sorry for another day. Anywho, right. So, like, these people that I see that 3D print. Now, I've seen some people, they actually run multiple printers, because some people I've actually seen actually legit run, like, they run multi, not businesses, but like, sorry, like I've like where they print multiple stuff at different times, right? But let me show you something. Let me show you something. Look at this guy. He 3D printed a Master Chief. Right? Like, look. Printables. Now, like, this right here is a site where you can, download stuff to 3D print. Same with Sketchfab. Right. I'm trying to see something. So, I don't know where it is. Specifically. But, like, I don't know if it's this guy or what, but I remember there was at one point, there was someone who actually went about and, they 3D printed a one-of-one Master Chief statue, and several articles were written about it. I forgot the sites. I looked at it. It's cool. I don't know if Xbox went after him or whatever. But, like, here's the issue with 3D printing, okay? So, like, from what I've seen, this YouTuber, and, I've gone back and forth with this person. Well, not really back and forth. Like, they have thrown my name out there and dragged it through the mud and disrespected me. That they have still throwing out my they're still throwing out private information, and but it's a long story. I guess they're just basically, long story short, they're angry and upset that I've done business with this Crow guy for screen painting. I've backed his product up, and this person saying I made false reviews and slandered this guy's company, which is unfound. But anywho, this person goes after Crow, for his 3D printing and whatever, right? Now, my question is, right, why don't companies go after 3D printer, 3D people who 3D print? Why don't big companies go after these 3D printers like Final Fantasy? I've been following this chick who does YouTube, that actually, I live I think a couple hours away from where she works. She, I've seen her, make, not really 3D print, but I've seen her actually make a Final Fantasy sword out of foam and whatever, But, why don't why don't like Marvel and all these other companies go after people who 3D print? Like people who go about like they'll go to conventions, they'll make like one of one scale armor and costumes. Like I've seen where people go about and they make these giant one of one scale replicas of these like characters, like and where they fit in them. They walk around whatever, like, and they're like 6-7 feet tall frickin' characters. You know, there's someone in there that's walking around. Like, why don't companies go after these people that 3D print? 3D printing's really a hobby. Yeah, it can be a business if you have a bunch of printers and if you're making gobs of money. But like, I did research this. Like, is 3D printing copyright a hobby? And 3D printing for personal use, which means if you're 3D print, so like, I can go about and I can 3D print, like, I can go 3D print, you know, the PlayStation logo, throw it up on my wall, right? I can throw it up on my wall as a display. That right there is personal use / hobby, not commercial, because I'm not selling it. But now, let's say I 3D print a PlayStation symbol that, you know, on my wall that's like 3 by 3 feet by 3 feet, and people, and let's say someone comes across it and like, oh hey, I like that. Now, let's say it costs me like $25-$30 to print, you know, material wise, right? The filament. So, you know, like, let's say I go about and, you know, I tell them, yeah, I can print the same size for you. It'd be like, let's say $50-$60, you know, make double my money, okay? Now, we're talking a 3 foot by 3 foot, you know, I don't know how much it really would cost. I'm just estimating, whatever. So, let's say a 3 foot by 3 foot PlayStation logo costs me $25 to $30 in filament / you know, material. And I sell it to someone. The same one, you know, I go about and I make another one for someone else, right? And I charge them $50 to $60. Okay, and I know I'm rambling. My brain's kind of spaced out right now. But, like, I charge this person $50 to $60 to make this, right? Did I violate a copyright? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I did. Not, you know, I don't have a 3D print. I'm just giving an example. But, like, did I violate a copyright? Yeah. Plus, the logo is probably trademarked too. But also at the same time, right? Let's say I only sold it to one other person. Let's say I sold it to one person and, you know, ended up never selling it again, right? I only made $50 to $60 off of 3D printing a 3 foot by 3 foot 3D printed wall display logo. Or, sorry, not made 50, made $25 to $30. Is PlayStation going to sue me for that? No. And I'll explain why. Because I didn't really make money. So, like, I can understand if I made like $100,000 minimum off of 3D printing stuff, like 3D printing logos and copyrighted material, like I've seen this Crow 116's stuff that he makes, where he set up at a convention. Like, companies don't care about people that 3D print stuff. Like, people who 3D print stuff, and I'll throw up this Reddit post soon. If you don't make enough money, companies aren't going to care. Now, maybe if you're making like $100,000 off of 3D printing their stuff, yeah, sure. But also at the same time is like, they don't govern who puts their stuff out there. Like I just showed you, there's multiple websites that actually end up giving files for you to print copyrighted material, right? And like I'll throw this up too. So this person was thinking of 3D printing stuff, whatever. So, basically, sorry, I was reading this guy right here, but anyway. Short version is the author or company that did the creative part. This person is replying to this, and you can pause it, read it, whatever. So, short answer: author or company that did the lots of people simply sell stuff they don't have the legal right to sell. They get away with it as long as they stay too small to attract corporate lawyers. Some companies don't care enough to send lawyers after you. Some do. Disney, Mattel, and Nintendo have been known to go after people. So,
watching Big Bang Theory, Gray or the Black.
So, like that person showed.
Came out. So that is cool.
Look right there. That's kind of like a Batman helmet thing, knife holder, whatever.
Why?
So, Now, this Crow 1176, he doesn't make enough money for... He doesn't make enough money for people to 3D, for people to go about and give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So, anywho, like I was saying, so this Crow 1176, he does not make enough money for companies like Marvel, DC Comics, etc. to be interested. So, like, let's see something. Like, right here, look. Now, that first one, I'm pretty sure that's probably sculpted and whatever else. But, like, look at all these. People 3D print for the love of the product, for the love of the company. They don't do it to be like, oh, hey, I can 3D print this. Screw the company. I can 3D print this. I can get so much money off of the company image, off the company product, off the copyright, off the trademark, People don't think that. People who 3D print and sell, like, those little helmets or masks that he did a while ago. Like, he's not the only one that 3D prints stuff. And they're not going to care. Because I'm pretty sure that there's so many people that go to conventions and see people who 3D prints. Like, I'm going to go about and download this video and, try to use it as evidence. Like, come on. But, like, I just showed that so many people go about and 3D print stuff from other companies. Like, people go about and 3D print so much. But here's the other problem at the same time. These people aren't making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars off of 3D printing. And pretty sure, and here's the thing though. You don't have to, like, realistic, so, like, at one point, in time, I had a 1099 for a company. Right. I only worked there for I only worked there for a month. Technically 2 months, because I was told that so I worked there 1 month whole straight. The next month we were told that, oh well, you know, we haven't received the material. We're still waiting to start up these jobs, whatever. And so for a whole month we didn't really work. We didn't do anything because we were waiting on material, which sucked. So then the next month it was I only worked 2 days because I ended up quitting because I found a different job. So anywho, I didn't make enough to do the whole tax filing thing. A lot of these people that 3D print, they don't make enough for the IRS to even care. Because technically, like selling a car, right? You sell a car for $2,000, but obviously a lot of people on Marketplace, they'll sell a cash car for $2,000. Now you go on Facebook Marketplace, you buy a car for $2,000. You're buying that car for $2,000. You, as the consumer, you buying that car, right? That's your job to pay the taxes to your state on that, That's your job to go to DMV, register it, pay the taxes, whatever, get the license and all that. That's your job. So, but if you go to a dealer, the dealer, collects the taxes from you, and they pay that. So, they do all the DMV stuff for you. So let's say, that $2,000 car, they gave someone $1,000 for it. They're making $1,000 off of it. But of course, essentially what they do is they're charging you the sales tax. They're paying the sales tax to the to the state, whatever. So I've actually seen let me see something, because let's see. So yeah, see this sales tax. I don't care if people saw my, who cares? But look at this, right? Sales tax. Sales tax. A lot of the, on Etsy, I just showed you, you 3D print something. Or, you buy something, you're charged sales tax automatically. Now, of course, a lot of people, they don't charge sales tax. But then again, also at the same time, You know, like I don't know a lot of these 3D printing companies' business dealings, but like, of course, if you're running a business, you have to pay the sales tax, right? Yes, of course. But at the same time, if you're just going about and like you're making stuff as a hobby and you're selling the stuff here and there and not making enough, you know, the companies aren't going to care because, you know, like I said earlier, you know, you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions. No. But like, I don't understand. Like, this person right here. Like, I don't understand why I went through this video. This person didn't explain at all what this person did not explain how this 3D printing hobby is a counterfeiting business. You know, like they're going about like they're going about like this whole description on whatever basically they're trying to sit here and show that, oh, you know, like from the first item that this person made, that's a bit business. No, it's not. Like, if so like I have looked through this person's stuff and whatever. Crow isn't making enough money for companies to care about what he's doing. They're not going to care. You know, I mean, person didn't explain at all on